welcome. It is wonderful to see so many faces joining us tonight for Brittany's tutorial that you've all watched, and we are so pleased to have you join in with the Q&A session. My name is Margaret Merkley, and I'm the president of the Ontario Guild of English Handbell Ringers and the chair of the program committee.
Hello, I'm Mandy Sun, and I'm excited to be joining Marg as your co-moderator for today's tutorial. As a member of the OGEHR Communications Committee, I manage the email tree that goes out to our membership on a weekly basis.
Today's tutorial on a virtual handbell project that you all have just watched was put together and produced by Brittany McCorriston. In addition to this tutorial, Brittany has produced a tutorial that is now up on the website for you to look at if you have not had a chance to look at it. It was called Introduction to Notation Software. Absolutely amazing. And she is also going to be producing 3 other tutorials throughout this 2021 season: Writing for Bells, How to Get Your Ideas on Paper, and Notation Software Part 2.
Welcome, Brittany. It's nice to have you back. Brittany has been playing handbells for over 10 years and is working towards a Bachelors of Music in Contemporary Writing and Production at Berklee College of Music. Brittany specializes in music notation and editing and is currently an assistant editor for Berklee Press, where she has worked on over 15 different publications. Brittany has a passion for teaching and believes that fluency in music technology is beneficial for all music learners. Welcome, Brittany. So at this point, we will be accepting questions submitted via the Zoom text chat.
Before we get into those, Brittany, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind updating everybody, though, on how many people have contacted you, registered for positions, the positions that have been taken, the interest that you have seen through your virtual handbell Gmail site.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for this project. First of all, let me just start by saying that. I just pulled the numbers, and so on the Google form right now, we have about 23 people who have signed up, and then in total there's 26. So that's because some people are doing more than one part, so that's why there's a bit higher number there. And as of right now, we also have all the parts covered except for the bass bells, which is really exciting. We're taking as many people as we can get, so it doesn't matter if we have 3 people on the same part, it'll all go into the same audio. But if you know anyone, any choirs that have the lower octave of bells, get them involved too. So.
All right, thanks, Brittany. So, Mark, shall we get started with the questions while I take the first one?
Go ahead, Mandy.
All right. So, Brittany, we have a question. Do we have to use headphones like you used in your training video, or are earbuds okay?
So earbuds are totally fine. I have a pair of over-ear headphones because that's what I use for like my everyday music production stuff. And it was something I honestly did not even think about when I did the video. But yeah, anything that goes over, so over ears or on ears, or the big ones that I have, or earbuds are perfectly fine too. As long as you're using some kind of headphones, that's all that really matters.
Okay. And it is important to use headphones or earbuds, right?
Yeah, so like you absolutely have to be using them. The reason for that is because when you're recording it, we don't want to hear that audio. So that's why you have to have some kind of headphones, but if it's earbuds, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Brittany, this is a question from Lisa, but I'm sure many people are wondering about it. When are we expected to see the finished product? And are we going to have access to use it during church services?
Sure. So I'm hoping, so everything's going to be due. I believe I said the date is like December 31st. And then after that, I'm going to be taking about 2 to 3 weeks to kind of compile all that audio and video together and make it and turn it into the final project. That is what I believe is going to be some form of like YouTube video that is obviously going to be shared with all the participants and will probably go up on the OGEHR website. But the finer details of that are still going to be determined. But as we make those decisions, I'll definitely keep everyone posted who has signed up on how to access the video, but you will have access to it. and be able to use it.
Great.
Perfect. So, Brittany, will you be providing performance notes for the ringers? So there are some parts that are tricky, like Barb Neal has just pointed out. The F5 G5 ringer does have a singing bell, and will you advise those ringers whether they should be ringing and singing and chiming all at the same time, or how will you be managing that the cooperation between different ringers at the same position?
Yeah, so I'm kind of leaving it up to the choir because it really depends on what's available to each choir, and everybody has a different circumstance. In terms of the individual parts that kind of have like, I believe it is like with that one part, like someone often will sing the bell and someone else will ring it. So that could be done potentially with like 2 different recordings if the person wanted to. So there's kind of different options. You could also just choose to just do one and then I'll make sure the other part is covered. But kind of the idea is after I get these signups, I'll go through with the individual parts. And again, I'm only one person, to the best of my ability, look over the score. I'm not a choir director. And try and figure out where those problems might be and reach out to those individual people who may be involved with that.
Okay, awesome. So you're going to be managing that interaction between individual ringers if there are some tricky assignments and switches.
Yeah.
All right.
But if you do know you have a tricky assignment, it's always good to just shoot me an email on the virtual choir that is on the website, just because then I'll actually remember. But I do hopefully in the next week or so to go through those parts and double check them.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brittany. So everyone, make sure that you direct your questions to Brittany.
And there are performance notes up on the webpage as well.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, Brittany.
You've put some great information up there already, Brittany, and I hope everybody's had a chance to take a look at it. Brittany, this is a question from Janet McDonald, my choir director, and again, other directors may have the same question. And it's the question about whether or not our whole choir can perform at the same time and be videotaped. How does that work? Are you okay with a choir doing that? And how can you incorporate it then into the virtual handbell project?
Sure. So I know that everybody's kind of experiences right now are different in what they have access to, so we're trying to leave it as open as possible. If you're a part of a choir that where you're not allowed to take the bells home, or because of insurance or whatever reason is going on, or you're not able to practice together, my suggestion that is like the best case scenario is that you record at the location that your bells are. And so that could be on your regular choir night. Someone will be scheduled in for 30 minutes and then another person. This is really helpful, especially if you have technological issues as well, if you're worried that you might not be able to kind of handle that. And then you can have one person do the recording and then the person just focus on their own playing. If you want to record as a choir because you feel that, again, there's like kind of, you may not be able to do that. The only thing that I have to stress with that is that I won't be able to use the audio, just because I do need just to be able to incorporate everyone else's parts together. So I would only be using the video then. If you are in that situation, I would say, again, just send me an email and check in with that so that I can give you like more specific instructions on how to do that.
Thank you.
All right, Brittany, sounds like you're going to be getting a lot of emails in the near future. All right. I have a question from Lloyd. He is asking, so he's never recorded anything before. And so do you have advice for him? Should he be using his computer or a cell phone? And once he does have a recording, how will he know that the video and audio are good enough quality for you to use?
Sure. So that's a really great question. I know that a lot of people are super new to recording, and when I first did it, I was super nervous. The biggest tips that I have is just take your time. You want the take to be as good as you can, but obviously you won't get it perfect potentially, and that's okay. On the website, there is like a specific page with some like extra tips and tricks that I found really helpful that I kind of go through with a process that I have, and also with the video that you just watched, it can be really helpful. If in terms of like knowing if it's a good take or not, the biggest advice that I always tell people is listen to your recording in full and do it with headphones or earbuds, whatever you have. The reason for that is because you hear way more when you're listening through either earbuds or headphones than you would if you're just playing it back on the speaker. So if you listen back and it sounds okay, then you should be good to go and you can upload it. If it's uploaded early, I will spot check some of them as well. So if you're super concerned, if you've like done a test recording and you're not quite sure and you're super concerned, again, shoot me an email or upload it, and I can listen to you and give you some advice on how to make it better if you want that extra help.
Brittany, there's a lot of people that are not ringing at the very beginning of this piece. Have you given any thought as to when you want people to pick up the bells when they're not ringing at the very beginning?
Yeah, so that it has been a question. I've yet to update the website and the performance notes, but I will do that in a couple days. But for specifically for if you're not ringing for a period of time, I want everyone to have their bells up from the beginning, and then if you finish early, you don't have to play through to the end of the recording just standing there. So I'm saying bells up at the beginning until if it's like 10 bars, 5 bars, whatever, you're going to have your bells up and ready until you go. And then let's say there's like 5 or 10 bars at the end, that's okay to stop. And so the reason for that is just because the way the video kind of works, if you watch the one by OGEHR and the Married Life video, when different instruments came in, it kind of showcased those instruments. It's going to be a very similar thing. So someone who has the melody will likely be kind of featured then. So if you're likely what I picture for the beginning of the video is just going to be that singing bell. So that's why, just to be safe, we'll have everyone bells up, but chances are you probably won't be featured per se until like your part comes in and you have a more active part.
Meg has a question. How do we get to see the full notation of this piece?
Yeah, so if your choir, we tried to pick a piece that we thought, but we could be wrong, that choirs would already have in their library. If your choir does not, reach out to us and we'll figure it out and how to get it. There is a link on the website to where it is, but if you have issues with like trying to purchase it, then we'll figure that out.
All right, thanks, Brittany. So Lloyd has a question. He's wondering if there's some place where you have the list of parts that have yet to be covered, so that he can to check if he can help out in some of those gaps. Yeah, so I'm still putting together. I'm going to pull the spreadsheet again, probably in the next day or so. I was kind of waiting for this tutorial to happen and answer some questions before I kind of re-updated the website with some more information. As of right now, the only thing that is not covered is the bass bells position. And so we're in a good spot right now. So I'm really excited, but officially right now, that's the only one. So,
Brittany, what do you suggest if people can't take their bells home?
Yeah, so the most the kind of best case scenario that I have for that is just to record in the location where the bells currently are. So if that is a church, a school, wherever they are, if you have access to that location, it is possible to just do it there, set up a camera, and like I said, you can just rotate in 30-minute sessions for people to come in and do it, or you can do it in groups of 2 where one person is recording their part while the other person is handling the camera, and that might actually be easier in some cases for people who are worried about their ability to do it by themselves. So
I assume that at this point, everyone who has joined us on the tutorial is interested in joining you or joining us for the virtual handbell project. But if they haven't already, how do interested members sign up?
Yeah, so on the website, once again, there is, I'm sorry, I'm going to refer you guys a lot back to the website, which is like, I know it can feel impersonal sometimes, but that is kind of where we're at. There is the link, it is a Google form, and you can find it. I'm going to bring it up on my computer really quick just to make sure. So it's under events, there's a tab for virtual handbell project, and then in general info, there's in bold, it says access to Google sign up form here, and if you click on here, it will bring you right to that form.
Great. Thanks, Brittany. There's a lot of great information on the website. So everyone, please do visit the page and review all the information there. Brittany has done a fantastic job of assembling lots and lots of detailed information. So that is your best resource.
And I'm thinking that we've had excellent questions and excellent input and feedback to you, Brittany. And between that, plus what you have got on the website for people to take a look at, that we probably will wrap up this Q&A session, the formal part of it, tonight. And make sure that you do go onto that website to take a look at that information.
Yes, thank you, Brittany, for going over some of the details of the virtual handbell project. And we hope that everyone who's joined us tonight will be joining us for the project itself. And speaking of joining us for future events, we have an upcoming tutorial session on Saturday, December 5th at 2 p.m. That will be a session run by Dominique Morneau, who will be presenting a tutorial on active listening. And he promises to help you learn music without ever lifting a finger. We hope you encourage your OGEHR friends to join us for that tutorial session and the subsequent Q&A session.
On behalf of the Ontario Guild of English Handbell Ringers, I would like to thank Brittany in particular for producing the video on the virtual handbell project and for being our host tonight for the Q&A session. Excellent job.